Well, hello everyone. My name is John Cottrell. This is Soft Flow, and this is a 60-minute gentle yoga practice. And I'm just glad that you're here so you can take a little yoga with us today. So, as usual, with our soft flow practice, we take things slowly, gently, we take our time, and by doing so, we also use some nice props. So, just our regular props for our class today. So, if you have a soft blanket to use, that's great. We'll use that for being on our hands and knees or a nice soft pad to sit on. Maybe a big bolster or a big pillow or cushion if you happen to have one. You don't have to have one for class today, but that might be nice for Shavasana. And we like to use a couple of blocks or just two objects that might be stackable. It could be a couple of books. It can even be a chair, but something like that. And then if you happen to have a yoga strap or something that resembles a yoga strap, it could be a belt or a jump rope or a necktie, just something like that. And again, this is optional too, but if you happen to have one, you might want to use it. So as we begin, let's go ahead and start in a seated posture, sitting on something soft, perhaps maybe your cushion or your folded blanket. And I like to cross my legs, but you don't have to cross your legs. You're welcome to extend your legs. If you need something more comfortable, like sitting up in a chair, please do so. Or if you need more support, sit up against a wall. We'll begin our practice in stillness. We'll take some time here to prepare for our moving practice. You might close your eyes or just soften your eyes. You might even just settle in, just move around until you feel as comfortable as you can be on your seat. Maybe take a few deep breaths. You might breathe in through your nose, exhale through your mouth, let your shoulders relax. Even feel free to even roll your shoulders. You roll them backward and forward. A little movement in your head just to check in to see if there's any tension that you might be holding on to that you can just easily begin to release, or just the awareness of that tension so that throughout your practice you can feel it disappear. And then just find your way to stillness and just continue to focus on your breath. Just slow, steady breaths in and out. Breathing deeply. You might even listen to the sound of your breath. Experience the sensation of your breath as it moves through your body. Our practice today will focus on balance. So some of our postures will be balancing postures, some different variations, but we'll start the balance practice with our breath. So first, as we're just breathing in and out, just notice the quality of your breath. As you're able, take slower and deeper breaths. As you breathe in, you might feel the breath rising upward to fill up your lungs. And a nice, slow, and controlled exhale. Do that a couple more times. Again, this lovely awareness of your breathing. When you start a new round of breath, let's pay attention to the pace of the breath. So, for example, when you breathe in, count to yourself how long it takes to breathe in. So, for example, you might breathe in and count 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when you exhale, count again 1, 2, 3, 4. So, whatever that pace is for you, just breathing in, counting to yourself. You can count quickly, you can count slowly. And then the same thing as you breathe out. Do that a few times. Just noticing the quality of the breath and the pace of your breath. Now that you have this awareness, the pace of your breathing, Let's manipulate the breath now so that the pace of the exhale now matches the pace of the inhale. So, for example, if your inhale takes 4 beats, let your exhale also be 4 beats. And if you'd like, we'll add 1 beat to either end of that breath. So if your beat was 4, let's increase that to 5. Just slowing down the pace of this balanced breath. The slow pace of your exhale matches the slow pace of your inhale. Feel free to keep this pace as you'd like, or maybe you add 1 more beat, slowing down the breath a little bit more. Keeping this balanced breath will move into our breathing and moving meditation. So the movement is simple. On your next inhale, extend your arms out and reach up into the air. And maybe you're still using that balanced breath. Finish the inhale, and as you exhale, let it match the pace of the inhale. Just the steady flow of breath and the gentle movement of your body, just moving in unison with your breath. And if you're breathing slowly, perhaps your movement is slow. That way you can really pay attention to what's happening within your body. Since it's just a simple movement of your arms, just feel that extension of the arms, feeling the energy in your arms all the way up through your hands and fingers. Feel the lengthening through the sides of your body as you reach up into the air. Notice the movement of your shoulders that's allowing the movement of your arms. And even your breath, you might still feel the breath rising upward, filling up your lungs. And an added sensation might be the exhale, where you draw your navel inward towards your spine, engaging what we call the abdominal lock, just a light contraction of your abdominal muscles. Let's take 3 more balanced breaths. Take your time, no rush to complete this sequence. When you are complete, you can just let your arms rest down by your side. Your hands might rest in your lap. You can just continue with the balanced breath or just gentle breathing in and out. From here, you're going to take your hands behind you. You might just lean back onto your palms or your fingertips. And as you bring the arms behind you, also feel the shoulders draw back. Now, that might take some effort of bringing the shoulders back just to really open up and expand through the chest and heart space. And then just tip your chin up a little bit, making a lot more space in the upper body. Now, let's go back to a nice full inhale. When you breathe in, just feel that expansion in the chest, your lungs. Feel that stretch quality across your chest from shoulder to shoulder. Hold that uplifting feeling as you exhale and draw navel inward towards your spine. Keep it light, but just notice that contraction of the abdominal muscles. Again, a breath in, fill up your lungs, feel the opening and expansion of that area. Your exhale to connect to center body. Let's do that a few more times. Still breathing in, you might still feel like you're lifting up, even though we're in this minor back bend, a nice heart opener. Exhaling, drawing belly in, and you may even squeeze shoulder blades together behind you, just adding a little bit more sensation. Maybe take one more balanced breath. Just choose the pace that you want for this balanced breath. When you're complete, you can lower your chin, walk your hands forward. Again, just rest your hands in your lap. Feel everything relax. Take a moment in stillness. Let's now take our forward fold, and we like to uncross the legs if they were crossed, and just reposition them so your feet are touching here, so we create cobbler's pose or a bound angle, which is a nice hip opener. This is where you might want to use your blocks or books just for a little extra support for your legs, or even some pillows. Some small pillows work nicely here too, just so your legs can literally just relax on the objects that you're using. Then you might hold on to your feet, your ankles, or your shins, and then sit up as tall as you can. And we'll start our breath work and movement. Breathe in fully. Feel the extended spine, fill up your lungs, exhale, pull belly in, and gently, very slowly hinge forward, just a little bit. Lead with your heart and chin. Hold. And if you can see me, you can notice I didn't move very far. We'll do that again. Inhale, keep extending through the spine. Just feel as if you're sitting up a little taller. Exhale, pull belly in for support. Hinge forward a tiny bit, being led by heart and chin. Now, you're welcome to pause at any point or continue with the slow progression of breath as you move slowly forward and perhaps slightly downward. Just keep it slow and gentle. At first, we'll work with maintaining a well-extended spine, but if you decide that you're going to go a little lower and deeper, feel free to let your chin drop, let your back round, and just noticing perhaps these new sensations running down through the whole backside, the back of your neck, your whole back body. Pausing at any point, knowing that you don't have to go too far, no need to push or force yourself. We want to be able to maintain as best as we can the sense of ease and relaxation, the softness throughout the entire practice. That doesn't mean that you won't necessarily go deep into some of your poses. It just means that we're not going to push or force ourselves. Take your time. You can even decide to draw back a little bit if you feel like you've gone a little bit too far in any of your poses. Be sure that you listen to that and honor that. Maybe back up a little bit or back out of the pose a little or completely. Let's take 3 more breaths in this forward fold. Maybe even use those balanced breaths again. When you're ready to move, we'll break it down. First, just lift your head, look out in front of you. That will start that re-extension of your spine. You might even place your hands on your mat to help guide your way back up until you're tall in your seat. Feel that full extension of your spine. Maybe even notice an energy moving through the crown of your head towards the sky, helping you to sit up tall. Find stillness for a breath. Let's change our postures. Take your time. Move in slow motion when we make these transitions. If you're using props, let's set those to the side. We're going to come to hands and knees. Here you might want to use your blanket for a little extra support and padding for your hands and knees if you'd like. We're going to start in this little tabletop position right here and moving into cat and cow. Starting with cow pose, which is an in-breath where you'll look forward or look up, allow your back to arch. You're creating a little bit of a back bend. Then your exhale, tuck your chin in towards your chest. Feel the expansion of your whole back body as it rounds. Pull belly button towards spine. Inhale to reverse it, tilt the pelvis back, let your belly drop. Your heart will open, look forward. Exhale, tuck tailbone underneath, pull belly button up towards spine, round your back, chin to chest. And just slowly flow through this nice undulation through your spine. Notice the rocking sensation of the pelvis. This is a wonderful pose because it's simple enough, but has so many benefits. It helps to release through the whole spine, even your pelvis, your low back. On your next breath, pay attention to your exhale, the cat pose, and even pause there for a moment. Chin to chest, rounded back, pull belly button up towards spine, tuck tailbone. Hold that for a second or two. Just notice that feeling, and then just continue the flow. Do that a few times. So when you get to your exhale, just pause in cat pose for a moment. This is a very engaging posture, which we'll be using for one of our balancing positions that will come later in our practice. Go ahead and finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more. Again, you might hold cat pose for a moment and then just come to a neutral tabletop posture where you can come to stillness, looking directly down just so that your neck is neutral. Take a breath. And then still moving in slow motion to transition. If you're using a blanket for padding, just crawl off your blanket. Let's set it to the side. You're certainly welcome to use that again at any time. We'll come back to hands and knees and prepare for our downward facing dog. Once you're here in this tabletop, go ahead and place your hands forward. Step your hands forward. And as you do so, spread out your fingers a little bit wider, creating a nice solid foundation. Lean into your hands or even press your hands firmly into the ground so your palms go flat, and energy in your strong, straight arms. Notice that. Now do another cat-cow. Inhale, look up or forward a little bit. Exhale, round it out. Hold cat pose. Again, that stabilizing posture. Once you've locked that in place, tuck your toes and then lift your knees off of your mat and then your hips up into the air, guiding your body into downward facing dog. Feel free to make any adjustments with your feet, even your hands on your mat, to help settle into the pose. Hold for a couple breaths here. Feel this nice extension you're creating in the spine. Hands are pressing into the earth, hips are lifting into the air. Now look at the space between your hands and just tiptoe several steps, walking forward up towards the hands or just until you get to a space where your feet are flat on your mat underneath you. You'll be in a deep forward fold just for a moment. And then inhale, slide your hands way up the legs, maybe to your knees or thighs, so you can fully extend the spine so it's elongated like a tabletop. Exhale, let's gently fold. Come back down. Just to pause right here. We're going to do that again. Just inhale, slide your hands back up to your knees or thighs, extending spine. Exhale, we're going to fold. We're going to do that one more time. Just a very simple folding sequence. Inhale, slide your hands back up to your knees or thighs, that long tabletop with the upper body. Exhale and fold. We're going to move right away. Now shifting your weight back into your heels just a little bit, bending your knees, allowing your hips to drop like you're about to sit down. Look forward. This may allow you to take your arms out to the side, spread your wings, and then drive the heels into the ground until you're standing up tall. Reach up into the air, big stretch. Then exhale, bring your arms down by your side. And once you bring them down, turn your palms forward, just like this, kind of an active mountain pose. That's it. So your shoulders are rolled back, just feeling this nice Elongation through the entire body with a good posture. And we're going to move right away into our sun salute. We'll take it slowly. Take your time. Here we go. Inhale, reach into the air. Big stretch, that lengthening through the sides of your body. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees. Feel like you're sitting back into a chair. Slowly fold. Maybe your hands land at your shins, maybe lower. Then inhale, slide your hands back up the legs to help re-extend your spine. Flat tabletop. Exhale, fold again slowly, but fold enough where you can bring your palms right down to your mat. Be sure to spread out your fingers and then step both feet back. Take several steps if you need to until you're in plank pose, your high push-up position. We like to hold this posture for strength, just for a few seconds. Then bend your knees a little like you're about to kneel down onto the ground, but lift your hips up into the air. Our return to downward facing dog. Adjust your hands and feet. Settle in, take a breath. Now we're going to add on. We're going to inhale, extend right leg up behind you. Doesn't have to lift high, just long. Reach back behind you. Exhale, bend this right knee. Bring your right knee in underneath you towards your chest or chin. Shift your body weight forward so you can notice your shoulders are now over your wrists. Go ahead and set your right foot down onto your mat. It doesn't matter where it lands. Then you'll set your left knee onto the ground. This will allow you to pick up your right foot and just place it up a little higher on your mat, closer to where your right hand is. And then relift your left knee. We need to find some balance before we rise. So feel your hips pull back towards the back edge of your mat. That way you have less weight in your hands, so you can literally rise up to fingertips like this. Then as you're able, take your time, walk your hands up to your thigh, push into your thigh to help extend your spine, lifting up to about 45 degrees. Hold here for a moment. Let's create a little bit more stabilization because this is balancing work right here. We want to anchor by pressing that left heel down behind you. It won't touch the ground, but it feel as if it is. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other like you're holding onto a block between them. Pull belly button in. All of these things may help with stabilizing the pose. Now extend your arms out and up into the air so you're facing directly forward, perpendicular to the ground. Reach up a little higher and then lunge a little deeper. Hold for a couple seconds. And again, this is a balancing pose. So don't worry if you fall out of the balance or wiggle a little bit. That's okay. We're going to inhale, lift up out of that deep lunge so you can pivot or turn that left heel to the floor. You'll turn sideways. Bring your arms down to parallel. Now we're in Warrior Two. Let's hold here, reaching out, extending through the arms, hands, and fingers. Nice lunge in front. Be sure your right knee is pointing forward. Now let's follow the right hand forward to angle the upper half of the body. Moving into side angle, you're going to rotate your arms. Yes, right arm will come down. Left arm will reach up into the air. Now we still want to practice balance here. Now this is a different awareness of balance. We want to make sure we don't have too much pressure or weight in that front knee or foot. If that's the case, you want to shift your weight back more into your hips. You might even need to move your left foot back a little bit and then shift your weight. Breathe in right here. Exhale, we'll turn towards the ground, carefully fold to bring your palms back down to the ground. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. Then press hands strongly into the ground to energize your arms. Then slide or step your right foot back into plank pose. Hold for strength. Down dog. Bend your knees, lift your hips into the air, and make your adjustments. Hold for a moment. Settle in. Take a breath. When you're ready, no rush, and inhale to extend your left leg up behind you. Reach back, nice and long. Exhale, bend this left knee. Bring the left knee in underneath you towards your chest or chin. Shifting your weight forward until your shoulders are over your wrists. Set your left foot down. Then set your right knee down. Use your left hand to go back and pick up the left foot and place it up higher on your mat. Relift your right knee, you'll be in your lunge. Now, this is what I'm talking about if there's too much weight forward in the foot,
hands and left knee. This is not balanced. To find balance, we shift the hips back until we find the center of gravity, which is really our hip bone, okay? Right between the feet. Rise up to fingertips, then hands up to your thigh, push into the thigh to lift and extend spine. 45-degree angle with the upper body. Let's create a little bit more stabilization in this balancing lunge. Create your anchor with your right heel. Squeeze to inner thighs, pull belly in. That should energize your whole bottom half. Arms extend out to the side and up into the air as you inhale. Exhale, lunge a little deeper. Let's again pause. Feel the strength in the lower half of the body. Be aware of your core center because that's what helps with balance. We're going to inhale, lift a little, pivot right heel to the ground, turn sideways. Arms come down to parallel. Again, being sure your left knee and toes are pointing forward. Now, because of our manipulation of the body lower when we were getting ready for the high lunge, we should have settled into a balancing place. And so when we eventually get to this posture, Warrior Two, we should already be balanced. Side angle, reach out over your left leg, rotate your arms, left arm down, right hand up. Now we, again, want to be sure because of that transition, we don't want to put any extra weight or pressure in the left foot or knee. We're still keeping the center of gravity, which is really the tailbone or your pelvis, that pelvic area. Let's inhale here, and our exhale will turn carefully, bring palms down to the ground, rise up onto your tiptoes behind you, spread out your fingers, nice wide base, push into the ground with the hands, slide your left foot back, plank, hold here, then you'll return to down dog. Bend your knees a little, send your hips into the air, a couple of breaths. Now look at the space between your hands. Once again, we're just taking a walk up towards the hands. They don't have to reach the hands, just to a place where your feet are flat on the ground. Put weight into the feet so you can inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or thighs. Once again, extend your spine, hold here in this half forward fold for a couple breaths. And energy moving through the top of your head, through your tailbone. So moving in these opposite directions. When you exhale, just be sure to pull belly button up towards your spine. Then shifting weight back into the heels, bend your knees a little, look forward, spread your wings again. Let's stand up tall, reach into the sky, and exhale, bring your arms back down by your side, palms facing forward. And here's our mountain pose. Couple breaths. All right, let's go to our next balancing posture, more typical one, and it's tree pose, okay? Now you're welcome to do tree pose classically, which is will eventually just basically bring a foot up to the leg like that. Or if you need a little extra balance or stability, I like to bring in blocks. This is just an option if you want to do this. If you've got two blocks, just place them on either side of your feet like that, one on either side of you. Really close, right there. So tree pose, let's shift the weight over into the right foot, press down strongly into the ground so that leg activates, stand up nice and tall. Your inhale fills up the lungs, your exhale engages the belly, and you might float the left foot up, just bending the knee a little, turn the knee out to the side and just place foot on the inside of the standing leg. Or if you need more stability, use your prop, your block right there. And you can even turn that block up a little higher, which I'll do just to demonstrate. So just having the toes right there on the block. Then if you'd like, and just an option today, extending your arms up into the air, reaching nice and high. Good, a nice lifting sensation, a lightness in the body. And what also helps with balance, and it's something we've been doing, it's pull belly button in as you exhale, strengthen your core center. And the other thing is your focus. Focus on something that's out in front of you or even down low. Just drop your eyes.
Don't drop your head. Keep your head level, looking straight ahead, but just drop your eyes so they can see the ground. All right, keep your arms as they are. We'll turn the left knee forward, place the foot back down onto the ground to rebalance. Then we'll bring the arms back down by your side. And just return to a nice neutral position. Even feel free to maybe shake this out. That's a lot of energy being used to balance on one foot, so you can just kind of shake things out if you'd like. And that's also another opportunity to be aware of any tension in the body, because we can get tense holding on to a pose. But then, oh yeah, I need to remember to relax and shake that out. All right, other side, start shifting weight over into the left foot, strong engagement into the ground. Feel tall, lifted and lengthened, and your exhale to engage your center. Now we can float the right foot up, bending the knee, maybe flexing the foot to keep it energized. We'll turn the knee outward, even just at a nice angle is fine. Placing foot on the inside of the standing leg. You might use the ground, a block, or placing foot on calf, or maybe inner thigh. Lots of options. Then your inhale, extending arms up into the air. Now just be aware of your hips, because sometimes what does help with balance, but it's kind of not intuitive with this posture, is to kind of sit into the hip. I don't know if you can see me. I've kind of dropped into my hip, and it kind of makes the pose a little easier. Well, we want to be able to have an evenness in the hips, lifting up. That's it. So your pelvis is nicely leveled. You're using breath, core engagement, focus. Very nice. One more breath in and out. Then we'll go ahead and turn that right knee forward. You can place the foot on the ground and then bring your arms back down by your side. Go ahead and turn your palms forward. Maybe keep that active for just 1 second and then go ahead and relax. Roll out the shoulders, move your head and neck gently. Still moving in slow motion, just get set up for your next sun salute, or you might be moving your props out of the way, which I'm doing now. Let's go for a sun salute. Here we go. Breathing in, reach into the sky. It'll be kind of a half salute. Exhale, swan dive forward. Take your time with bent knees, making your way down toward your toes. Inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or thighs, extending your spine. Exhale, folding enough so you can bring your palms down to the ground and just walk both feet back into plank pose. Once again, we'll hold for strength. And then go ahead and bring knees to the ground. Now we're going to stay on hands and knees. So if you want to bring your padding back in, feel free. So I'm going to bring my blanket back in because we're going to be on our hands and knees. We're going into this pose. It's actually called spinal balance. In the setup, we already did. Remember when we did cat and cow and I had you hold cat? We're going to do that again as we prepare for spinal balance. Here we go. So you'll inhale, look forward or up, arching the back. There's our minor back bend. Exhale, round it out. And hold this position. So the back is rounded, belly button's pulled up towards spine, chin towards chest. All right, hold it. Keep breathing. Now, you don't want to hold your breath. We're just holding the pose, keeping it engaged. Start to shift your weight over a little bit into your right knee. That way you can lift the left knee and extend the leg back. You're going to keep your toes on the ground. Just take a look at me if you need direction. So I just lifted the knee and extended the left leg back, just like that. Now and extend the right arm forward, lifting the right hand off the ground, reaching forward. Still pulling belly button up towards spine. But if I start to lift the left foot and extend the right arm a little bit more, it kind of straightens the spine a little bit more. We want to make sure that we're still engaging the belly. We want to be careful of not lifting that left leg or right arm too high.
else you'll get something like this. You'll get this arched back, which might collapse your back and disengage your belly. So keep it kind of low. The other engagement is squeeze to center, just as you're pulling your belly button in towards spine. You're going to feel like your right arm is moving over towards left side of the room, and your left leg is moving towards the right side of the room. Spinal balance. Let's bring the hand down and the left knee down. Let's give our hands a break and just sit back into child's pose or even hero pose. So something like this. Okay, just to get that pressure off the hands. Do whatever feels right. So as you're resting right there, we just did spinal balance. We want to maintain that tabletop position, nice flat back as best as we can. And we can do that easily by coming into that cat pose to make sure we keep core engaged. And when we lift the opposite limbs, the leg and the arm, we don't lift them too high. Take 2 more breaths where you are. Still moving in slow motion, just make your way back up to hands and knees so we can do spinal balance on the other side. Let's do cat and cow to prepare. Inhale for cow, look up, arch the back a little bit for the back bend. Exhale, round it out for cat, hold. Round the spine, pull belly button in towards spine to engage your core center. Keep this feeling. Now start shifting weight into your left knee. Slowly extend the right leg back, but keep the toes on the ground for now. Make sure you're still somewhat rounded in the back, pulling belly button in. When you're ready, lift your left hand and extend it forward. It doesn't have to be all the way parallel to the ground just yet. Just lift it up off the ground. Inhale for a little bit more extension. Exhale, pull belly button in to engage, and then lift the right foot just a little bit off the ground and maybe reach forward more with your left arm and hand. Now squeeze to center. Belly button is still pulling in. Now both legs, even though one is lifted and one knee is on the ground, you want to feel like maybe you're holding on to maybe an imaginary block between them. So the inner thighs are engaged. Same with the arms. Feel like they're squeezing together to hold on to something between them. That will kind of keep you balanced here. So it's very strong posture. Let's breathe in. And then the exhale, bring the hand and the knee back down to your mat. And once again, sit back into child's pose or hero pose. Let the body settle, relax. Very nice. So very strong work. You wouldn't think that would be such a dynamic posture, but because of the opposite limbs extending, so much is happening with the body. Your whole body is active in that pose. Take a few more breaths. And see if you can even come back to a slow, balanced breath. Pick a pace, maybe it's 4 or 5, and then see if you can breathe slowly. Take 2 more breaths. All right. Moving in slow motion, let's come back up to hands and knees. But here we're transitioning. So if you are using some padding, go ahead and crawl off of your pad. Let's move the blanket off to the side again. Return to hands and knees. Once again, coming back to our downward facing dog. And we'll do another lunge sequence. Let's step the hands forward, spread out your fingers, press palms into the ground, strong, straight arms. Cat cow. Inhale for cow, look up. Exhale, round it out. That same hold of the cat pose to engage your belly. Tuck your toes, lift your knees, lift your hips. And there we are, downward facing dog. Feel the re-extension of your spine. Inhale, extend your right leg up into the air. Exhale, bend your right knee, shift body weight forward, bring that knee forward. Maybe you can set the foot closer up to the right hand. Again, just notice if the body weight came forward. We need to find balance, so shift the weight back. Hips are moving towards the back edge of your mat until there's no weight on the hands or very little. Bring the hands up to your thigh to help lift torso until it's well extended. Let's create the anchor and balance by pressing left heel into the ground, squeezing to inner thighs, pulling belly in. Once you feel strong at the lower half, extend your arms out and up, rising up to our balancing lunge position. Reach high, lunge low. Let's hold here for a couple more breaths, a little longer than the first time. Still use your core engagement. Squeeze inner thighs towards each other. Look at something out in front of you to help you focus. Now let's lift up, pivot left heel to the floor, turn sideways, bring arms down to parallel. Let's reach out over the right leg, angled upper body, rotate the arms, being sure you're still moving from center, staying balanced so we're not putting any extra weight into the right foot or knee. Breathe in. Exhale, let's turn carefully, bring hands back down to the ground. Palms flat, lift left heel. Strong hands so you can slide right foot back to plank. Hold, and then your return to down dog. Inhale, extending left leg into the air. Your exhale, bend left knee, bring it in underneath you towards chest as you're able, placing foot a little closer up next to left hand, or pick it up and place it as you did earlier. If the weight is forward, find balance, shift weight back. Pull hips back, hands should be light, that's your test. Hands up to the thigh, press to help extend spine, feel that full extension. Create more balance by anchoring the right heel, press. Inner thighs squeeze, engage the legs, engage your belly. Now extend your arms out and up, reach high, lunge low, settle in for your balancing lunge. Focus forward, take a couple of breaths. Checking in with the lower half of your body. Are the inner thighs still squeezing to center? Engage strong legs, core control. Inhale, lift a little to unlock the hips so you can pivot right heel to the floor, turn sideways, arms to parallel, warrior two, left knee points forward. Side angle, reach out, angled upper body, rotate your arms, left arm down, right hand up, checking in to make sure you're still centered. There's an even distribution of weight between the feet. Inhale. Exhale, we'll turn, slowly and carefully fold. Palms to the ground, lift right heel. Press hands strongly into the mat so you can slide the left foot back, plank pose. Downward facing dog, knees bent, hips into the sky. And then take a walk, both feet up towards the top of the mat or until your feet are flat on the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, slide hands up to knees or thighs, extending spine. Exhale to fold. Just a little bit is fine. Weight shift back into the heels. Bend the knees, look forward. Spread your wings, stand up tall, reach up into the air. Nice stretch there at the top. Exhale, arms down by your side. Well done. Hold for a moment. You can even shake this out if you want to. We're going to do one more balancing pose. And this is where you might want to use your strap. So if you have a strap or something that resembles a strap, let's go get that. Come back to your standing position. Take your strap, if you have one, and place it underneath your right foot. And just hold on to the strap in your right hand. And just kind of stand once again in your mountain pose. You just happen to be holding on to a strap. Now you're going to shift your weight into your left foot. Press into the ground, nice and tall, core control. Like you're a marionette puppet, you're going to lift your right foot, just like this, extending, or sort of lifting. And then just extend the leg. Now, you don't have to lift it up very high at all, okay? Just out in front of you, just like this, okay? So you have a nice hold of the strap. The leg is straight and strong, pushing through the heel. Left foot, pressing strongly into the mat, nice and tall. Take your focus forward.
If you want, just for a little added energy and challenge perhaps, extend your left arm up into the air. One more breath in and out. We're not going to be here too long. So just another way to balance on one foot with the leg extended out front. All right, so bring that lifted foot back down to the ground. Bring your arm back down by your side. As you release the strap from that foot, shake it out. All right, so we just kept that pretty simple. So we're using the strap as a way to, as if we were holding onto the big toe to extend the leg. All right, back to mountain pose, placing the strap underneath the other foot. Then start shifting weight into the right foot, strong leg, long spine, focus forward. Exhale to pull belly in, then float the left foot up. Bend the knee, then extend the leg. It doesn't matter if it's high. It doesn't have to be high at all. Just give a nice tug of the strap so you've got a good hold of the foot in the strap. That's it. And then as you'd like, maybe taking the right arm up into the air. Reach high, still getting the torso nice and long. Good job. Extending this left leg, good energy in that leg. Of course, the foot is flexed, maybe even flex it a bit more. Good balance work. There we are. Let's slowly bring that lifted foot back down to the ground and the arm back down by your side. And that's all we'll do for the balance and the use of the strap. So let's go ahead and put that to the side and return to your mountain pose, and we'll flow just to make our way back down to the ground to come to our final practice. Inhale, reach into the air. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, sit back into your imaginary chair as you slowly fold, make your way down, maybe touching the ground, or again, maybe your hands land at your shins. Inhale, extend your spine, lifting up halfway. Exhale, bend your knees enough to place your palms on the ground. Walk both of your feet back, holding once again temporarily in plank pose for strength. And then just go ahead and bring your knees to the ground. All right, we're just transitioning. We're going to sit down and then lie down, okay? So I'm just adjusting my mat here, and then spin around so that you're sitting in the center of your mat, and go ahead and lie down. Be sure your props are nearby. You might want to use a blanket for a headrest. Your blocks are nearby. And we're going to lie down on the back with knees bent, feet on the ground. And just take this opportunity to really soften, because we've been doing a lot of engaging with a lot of that balance work. And just that realization, yes, it does take some effort to find balance, to practice balance. We wish that it came automatically sometimes, but there is an attention we have to give to ourselves and our external world here in order to match it up, in order to find and experience balance. Let's take a bridge pose. It's just a simple back bend, and you're welcome to use blocks for support for supported bridge pose. So again, making sure your knees are bent, feet are flat on the ground. With an exhale, just simply lift your hips up into the air, and maybe slide a couple of blocks underneath you so you can just sit on those blocks. And again, you can return to a very relaxed position in this mild back bend. We'll hold here. After a few more breaths, let's play with another balance concept. And that's the concept of turning our bodies upside down. Now, we won't do that literally in this practice, but just knowing that we're upright, most of the time, right? Pretty much all the time. We're standing, we're sitting, our feet are on the ground, our head is in the air. What if we flipped it around?
creating that sense of balance. We're going to do that just by extending the legs into the air. So if you're sitting on blocks, or if you want to come down and just lie flat on your mat, that's fine too. And then just extend your legs up into the air. And so we're just mimicking just going upside down. The head is closest to the ground. The feet are closest to the sky. We don't have to do anything special here. It's just extending the legs, and there's probably some energy in the legs in order to keep them up in the air. You might even notice a little core control and stability. So again, there's still effort. It might be a little bit more mild, but there's still effort to maintain or establish balance. Let's just take a couple more breaths. And when you're ready, you can just bend your knees and just place your feet back down onto the ground. If you're using blocks, press into the ground so you can lift your hips, moving the blocks out of the way, and just come back down to the ground and come back to that softness and ease in the body. Let's take reclining cobbler's pose, where you might bring the feet and legs a little closer together like this. And then just take the knees out to the side on either side of you. And the soles of the feet will touch. This just mimics the seated version, which we did earlier in our practice. And we're just doing this lying down. This is it's a nice back release and hip release, as well as an inner thigh release. And it's quite comfortable too. So just several breaths. Another concept or idea of balance we can incorporate in this practice and really any practice, because when we think about the word yoga, it means union. And one of my early instructors used to describe yoga as the union of opposites, the union of opposites. And when that union of opposites comes together, it creates a balance. A great symbol of that is the yin and yang symbol. It's that black and white kind of teardrop that are placed together, and it creates a circle, a complete circle, and it's balanced. They work in unison. It's like these opposite forces come together. Take 3 more breaths. So there's many ways we can think about balance. We did it physically, getting into balancing poses. We practice balanced breath. And then just these other concepts and ideas of what balance could mean. From here, go ahead and bring your knees together and draw your knees in towards chest. Give yourself a gentle hug, certainly a well-deserved hug. We'll take a spinal twist. We'll take the knees off to the left side to start. Extend your right arm to the right side. Knees to the left, right arm to the right. And for these next few poses and breaths, maybe just think for yourself what balance means to you. Two more breaths. Take your time, still moving slowly. Bring knees to center. You might even pause in center for a moment. And then you can take your knees over to the other side. Spinal twist. Still bringing to mind what balance means to you.
and how you achieve balance in your own life. Two more breaths. Moving slowly, take your time. Return to center, maybe one more hug of the knees in towards your heart. Then moving into your version of Shavasana. And that might mean the classical version where you extend your legs out front, arms down by your side where you're lying flat on your mat. Or you might bring in some props to help support your body in any way. Maybe you want to elevate your legs. Maybe you want to elevate your upper body. Maybe you just want to put a soft bend in your knees by rolling up a blanket or a bolster placed underneath your bent knees. Maybe lying on your back is not that comfortable at this moment. Maybe roll onto your side instead, or even come up to a seated position. Wherever you decide to be, maybe take 2 or 3 balanced breaths and just settle into stillness. Stay exactly where you are. No need to move just yet. Just return to the awareness of your breath. Just slow, steady breaths. Maybe it's balanced breathing, or it's just easy breaths in and out. And now that you have this awareness of your breath, take 5 slow, deep breaths. And again, they just may be deep breaths, or maybe you take 5 deep, balanced breaths. As you're breathing, notice movement begin to return to your body. And after your 5th breath, once again moving in slow motion, slowly and carefully roll onto either side of your body. Hold for a moment in this nurturing pose, this place of self-care, feeling balanced, connected. Now continue to move and rise up very slowly and come to a seated position. Certainly no rush to move. Find your seat, sitting up nice and tall. Once again, aware of your breath. And together we'll inhale and extend your arms out and up. Bring your palms together as you exhale now and bring your hands down to heart space. Hold in stillness while you take one more breath. And as we complete this journey together, we bow, saying, Namaste.